Hey there folks, today I'm in the Vinhomes Central Park development in the Binh Tan district in Saigon, and in these inflationary times I'm going to give you a cost of living update in Saigon. So I'm at the Vinhomes Central Park development, guys, in Saigon, and this is home to Landmark 81, the tallest building in Vietnam. Quite impressive, especially at night when it gets lit up by neon, and it really stands out in the city. How is the cost of living now in Saigon? How does it compare to 6 months ago, a year ago? How does it compare to the rest of Vietnam, and what's happening with prices here? Well, apartment prices are certainly going up, and we're seeing increases from, especially post-COVID, so from 10 to 30%. But you can still get a service room for around 7 to 9 million Vietnamese dong. And I'm going to talk in Vietnamese dong today, guys, and I'm going to put the US dollar conversions below as I bring up the figures. So 7 to 9 million for a service room. What does service room mean? Well, service room means you'll get your water included. You get cleaning typically once or twice a week, so someone will come in and clean the room for you once or twice a week, which is nice. And you tend to get a better kind of landlord situation where they'll help you out with different things, help you with police checks if you need that for work permit, things like that. Whereas if you rent a house or apartment, you're going to be pretty much on your own. So I'd recommend a service room if you're coming to Vietnam initially. It's very, very convenient, although I wouldn't recommend it long term because what you get for the money is a little bit expensive in my opinion. So if you're looking for an apartment, something like this here at Vin Homes, you're looking at about 20 million for these apartments, guys. So they're not that cheap. They start around 18 to 20 for a one bed and go upwards above 20, 22, 23 million for a two bed. But a development like this is very high end, pretty good quality. You've got this lovely park on your doorstep. Those are little barbecue places there you can book. And it's fairly well kept. They do a reasonable job of keeping it looking nice. It's not too much litter around. You got plenty of pools and gyms in there. But this is high end, guys. This is for Vietnam. This is very, very expensive indeed. So what about a regular one bedroom apartment? So you're looking at between about 9 to 12 million VND. And this is in the foreigner or expat areas. So places like District 2, District 7, District 1. And on the edge of District 4 as well, although it's not my favourite spot, District 4. I recommend District 2 and District 7 over District 4 if you're coming here to live. So 9 to 12 million for a one bed, and then between 11 and 14 million for a two bed apartment. When you rent an apartment in Vietnam, you're typically going to be looking at a 1 year lease with a 2-month deposit. Whereas a service room you could probably rent for 3 to 6 months, perhaps even monthly now, with a 1 month deposit. So when you're renting an apartment or room, you're going to need to pay for your utilities, electric, water, gas. And so what are these prices like at the moment? So electric is still pretty much the same as it's been for quite a long time. And you're looking at about, if you pay EVN direct, you'll be paying around a maximum of 3.2 Vietnamese dong per kilowatt. So an average bill for a single person in a one bedroom apartment is about between 7 and 800 Vietnamese dong during the hot season. If you're not cooking at home very much, then you can probably get that down to about 400 or 500 dong a month for electric. I mean, my bill's typically around 600 to 700,000. I use aircon every night, but I don't use aircon in the daytime. Water is very cheap here, and that price hasn't really changed. So it's around 5,000 VND per cubic meter. So water bill typically comes in at about 60 to 90,000 Vietnamese dong a month, so very, very cheap. But obviously you can't drink this water, guys. The water's not potable, so you have to buy in bottled water, and the bottled water costs, that's been going up quite a bit. It used to be about 45,000 dong for a 20 litre bottle. Now you're looking at around 65,000 VND for a 20 litre bottle. I typically go through around 2 or 3 of these a week, so around 130,000 VND a week for my drinking water, so that does add up quite quickly. And if you're here with a family, obviously you're going to be using a lot more water, and it can get quite expensive, so it may even be worth looking to put in some sort of water filter in your apartment, or to rent an apartment with a water filtration system. They do exist here. Shopping and groceries. So I typically spend around 500,000 Vietnamese dong every couple of days at a supermarket. I like to eat well. I don't drink, I don't smoke. I don't drink often, I should say. I don't smoke, and I like to try to be healthy with my cooking and my eating, so spend around 500,000 every couple of days at the supermarket. That covers everything for 1 to 2 people, depending if I've got a guest. I'll also go to the market as well, where prices are really kind of similar to the supermarket, maybe a little bit less. You pay about 180,000 Vietnamese dong for per kilo of a good fish. Meat, beef, around 150,000 Vien Dong a kilo for beef. Chicken breast is super cheap here, around about 80 or 90,000 Vietnamese dong per kilogram, so you can go crazy, eat as many chicken breasts as you like. It's not going to break the bank at all. What about petrol or gas prices then, guys? So it was around 31,000 Vietnamese dong per litre. It's now back down to about 25,000 Vietnamese dong per litre as of the end of July. So it's come down quite a bit, which is good. That's one thing I like about Vietnam. They have passed on the lowering of the wholesale price of oil and gas has been passed on to the consumer here, as far as I can tell. Whereas in other countries like the UK and the US, they seem to have jacked up the price of fuel and gas, and then even though the wholesale price of oil comes down, they leave the price where it was, which is pretty annoying. Wow, it's a hot one today, guys, but it's lovely to be in the park. There's not too many parks in Ho Chi Minh City, and this is one of the nicest ones. I mean, it's like a little village within a city, and it gets, as you can imagine, super packed in the evenings and weekends. Only crazy mad dogs and Englishmen like me who come out in the midday sun. So how about your eating out costs, your street food and your Western food, or your Korean food, your Japanese food? So your Vietnamese food, so stuff like gom tam, ban seo, banh nu, things like that, between 25 and 50,000 Vietnamese dong for a portion, so pretty good. Banh mi between 25 and 40, depending on whether you go to a nicer one or a street one. The price will vary. Western food, so good burger, good pizza, things like that. Italian food, you're looking about starting at about 180,000 Vietnamese dong, going up to about 250, so not too bad. Again, Japanese food, sushi is really cheap here, so you can get a good portion of sushi for about 40,000 at places like Sushi Ni in Bin Tan or District 1. So you're looking at about, for 2 people to eat sushi here, maybe 300,000 dong for a really good meal. So it's good, it's a really good price. Korean food I'm not a huge fan of, so I'm not too familiar with, but a lot of hot pot places where you pay about 300,000 to get unlimited food. So you get like some sort of buffet, then you get like a hot pot and you can throw in like all your bits and pieces. What about if you want to rent a motorbike? So you're looking at a minimum of about 1 million Vietnamese dong a month to rent a motorbike, and that would be like a basic motorbike like a Yamaha Nuvo or a Suzuki Hayate. If you want to rent a nicer motorbike like a new Honda Airblade or NVX or even a PCX, you're looking at between 1.5 and 3 million Vietnamese dong a month for that. What about things like insurance, health insurance? I would definitely recommend that you get health insurance if you're visiting or if you're living here, guys. Health costs can rack up pretty quickly. I've done a video about health in Vietnam, and it gives you a very brief overview of what the situation is like here. But really, for somebody over 40 with no pre-existing medical conditions, for a good policy that covers inpatient and outpatient, you're looking at around 200 US dollars per month upwards, so not particularly cheap. If you've got pre-existing conditions, then obviously you can tag them on, but they will jack up your policy quite a bit. So how about incidental costs, things like phone, cell phone and internet? Well, super cheap in Vietnam. I think one of the cheapest in the world, to be honest with you. Oh. Time for a free shower. So I pay around 60,000 Vietnamese dong a month for my cell phone, my mobile phone. That includes about 5 gigs of data, which I never go over. That's just super cheap in my opinion. It doesn't include many calls, but I typically make calls over the local apps here like Zalo and WhatsApp. You don't really need to make too many actual calls to numbers. Just do it through the apps. Internet is again very cheap. You've got providers such as FPT, and they charge around 240 Vietnamese dong a month, which includes like maybe, you know, 80 megabits a second download speed of internet, and pretty good upload speeds as well. And that includes movie channels and TV as well. So you get like HBO, Cinemax, stuff like that. And it's really cool. There's no adverts. It's really good value for money. I haven't found anywhere in the world cheaper than that. And yeah, pretty much everyone here gets the internet and TV package because it's so cheap. So finally then guys, on to the fun stuff then. So what about beer, coffee, travel around, stuff like that. So you're looking at between 15,000 and 70,000 Vietnamese dong for a coffee. Like if you go to one of the Starbucks type places, then you're going to be paying close to 65, 70,000 for your latte. If you go to a Vietnamese place, you're going to be paying around 15,000 for your sữa, which is your iced coffee. Both good options. Beer can be super cheap or expensive. It tends to be quite cheap here, much cheaper than Thailand. You can get a good local brewed beer for about 35,000 Vietnamese dong. You can get a bottle of Heineken, a bottle of Saigon, a bottle of Ba 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 333 for about 25,000 Vietnamese dong in a bar in Boi Vin or a street kind of cafe type of place. If you go into District 1 or you go to a rooftop bar, then of course you're going to pay a lot more, and you're looking at prices of around 60,000 upwards to 150,000 for a beer or a cocktail in those sort of places. So how much does a haircut cost in Vietnam, guys? Well, about 80,000 dong for a decent haircut. This one from Vu Tree, I go every couple of weeks because they do such a good job. So yeah, about 80,000, give a nice tip, maybe 20 or 30 because they do a great job. And yeah, absolute bargain. So I often stop at this place for lunch, 30,000 for the coffee, 40,000 VND for the kebab. It's pretty good. Get your salad fix and your protein fix. Yeah, not bad.